How's it going? I know. Crazy hectic, right? Well, sit back and relax and welcome to the Mom and Pop Spot. Help me welcome my dad and the host of the show, St. Patrick.
Welcome all my moms, pops, guardians, and guests to the Mom and Pop Spot podcast. I am your host, Mr. St. Patrick. For today's guest, we have a good friend, a real cool and down-to-earth, special kind of father today. Please show love to Julio to the show. How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Yeah.
Excited to see. I saw the first video
Yeah,
when you uploaded it, and you
Yeah.
reached out to me and told me to check it out.
yeah,
I love the story,
yeah,
so I figured I'd come over here and show some love.
yeah. Were you nervous about coming on?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. When I'm not big when
yeah.
it comes to expressing myself and I guess verbalizing
Right.
what I want to say.
Yeah,
My brain's always thinking, "Hey, I'm telling a story,"
yeah,
and then I start breaking it up into different stories and stuff like that. So
yeah.
been through a lot in my life, so just yeah, man, I'm excited to see what this is.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
excited when you said you're gonna come on because we did the hot car challenge. And for those of you out there that are watching, we stayed in the car. I forgot how long we lasted. I think was it you or was it Leo that kind of like was just like can't do it anymore.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
when was
it's
that? Like 2010?
I think so. It
Yeah.
was a while ago. I want to touch back up on it just to kind of like show that it's still a thing.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because like it's still people to this day. They're like, hey, I just came across this video and this and that. They said one of the two things that they always tell me is I should have left my shirt on, but I was like, and I should have. It was just so hot. I ended up taking my shirt off, not realizing it.
Yeah.
And they were asking how come I wasn't more vocal on it. But the concept behind it is I never want to be in the video. I want to be behind the scenes, kind of showing that I'll go through it with the team that I'm putting it through.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I always respected you. I always appreciated you, coming along for the journey because now you know what it feels like when these kids are getting left in these hot cars.
Yeah, man, the kids, not even just the kids.
Yeah,
I got
elders
dogs.
and
Yeah, I got dogs 3
yeah,
years ago, like, during the beginning of, the lockdown.
yeah,
Got 2 dogs, little Chihuahua. And just thinking about them, I see videos now I never used to look at, other pets and
yeah,
other dogs that way, but the love that I have for them, I can't even see myself leaving them outside of n let alone a hot van that's
yeah,
the windows up, even just outside. We're in Phoenix,
yeah,
it's hot. So I always try to, take them outside for 15, 20 minutes,
right,
just something like that.
yeah,
And you're thinking about the dogs, you're thinking about kids. Definitely would never want my son to be at that time what I think my son was 3 years old.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think about ever doing something like that.
It puts things in perspective, and that's why like I thought it was important and stuff like that. So if you guys are watching, please don't leave your kids, your animals, or elders in the cars because it's I mean, it's I mean, you can see what it is. I mean, they show it on the news all the time. It's not a good thing. So please don't leave kids in the cars. But how are you doing from 1 to 10 mentally, physically, for you personally?
I would say mentally,
Mhm.
8 out of 10.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not the type to look at it, and I try to see the positive in everything.
Right.
Just recently I told you about my job, right?
Yeah.
Just managing 16 different people.
Yeah.
The When you're managing people, it's not managing over the job. It's kind of motivating people and
Mhm.
making sure that they're coming to work, that they're happy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all have a job. We all got to go to that job.
Right.
If you're in a happier mood,
Yeah.
and you're not just gonna wake up being happy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't just wake up being happy, but if you're able to speak to somebody, relate to somebody, you got to be the positive person
Right.
and try to instill that positive momentum on their end.
Uh-huh.
And you can't do that if you're not positive. So
Yeah.
I'm always trying to look at the negatives and turn them into positives. And I think that that's honestly the last 2 years have definitely been like better.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't really like that before.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, my mindset has definitely been more positive. So that's why I'm saying
So
it 8 out of 10.
when you're on your low, what are you doing to make yourself I mean, I know gym is always been a thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Honestly, I'm big into podcast,
Yeah.
motivational YouTube videos. If you look through my YouTube history,
Yeah.
like I tell everyone, I mean, you'll be able to see nothing but positive mindset videos, podcasts on how people started businesses. Just hearing their stories allows me to see myself and say, "Hey, they've been through the ups and downs. Look at where they're at now." And that keeps my mindset in a positive way. Like, hey,
I'm 50-50 on that. Because of the fact that sometimes I see it and I'm like, okay, it motivates me in a sense. And I was big, I was kind of like where you're at. Like I was really big into it. I was watching it every chance I can get. Like, man, this is what I'm gonna do. But then the other 50 is like where I'm watching it and I'm like, man, like you try to compare yourselves to them at times. You try to compare your stories, like, okay, how's my story like theirs so I can get to where they're at? It's kind of a disservice to yourself in a sense.
yeah,
I realize that at times. So now I'm just trying to make sure that I'm looking at my own end results. You know what I
mm,
mean? Uh, Trying to remain focused, but it's good because the fact that you're keeping yourself motivated right now, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
good. That's good. And where are you at? Anything challenging with this week within parenthood?
My little guy just picked him up. I say my little guy.
Yeah.
He's 16 years old.
I
He's
mean,
taller than me already,
yeah,
but he's always gonna be my little guy.
yeah,
Picked him up yesterday in the summers with him every week.
yeah,
As far as challenging goes, it's more of a he's at the 16 age where he has a girlfriend,
yeah,
he's learning how to drive, and I started thinking about all that stuff, and we obviously want to make sure that we have our kids safe.
yeah.
So just teaching him how to drive visually,
Okay.
seeing him on the road by himself, that's the type of stuff that I'm
See, that's
looking
what
at.
I'm a little weary about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I'm like, fuck, when my kids start driving, like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be terrified, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And not more so because of them, because a lot of times you got these other knuckleheads that are just they're speeding. I mean,
Yeah.
what are you doing because of the fact that you had mentioned driving? What are you doing to teach them in regards to just road safety?
He since he was a little kid, he's always been in the back seat. So for the past year, I know it's late. He likes to be in the back seat because he's always on his phone, texting or on social media or with his girlfriend.
Right.
He has a girlfriend now. So he was always in the back seat, and I would ask him to come to the front,
Yeah.
and it was mainly, my relationship with him. He like my best friend,
Yeah.
but I asked him a year ago, hey, come up to the front so that you can be comfortable seeing the road this way versus being in the back seat.
Right.
You're up here, if you're seeing it and you're watching me drive, learning what I'm doing, hey, this is a yellow light, this is when he starts brake. Like you're gonna get familiar with that versus being in the back seat and then all of a sudden just being in the front, not
Right.
seeing stuff like that. So that's something that I've been doing the last year. Um Now, I feel like that's how it put me at ease when
Right.
I take him out to practice. We go to a dirt field,
Yeah.
and honestly, that was his first time behind the wheel. I would give him an 8 out of 10.
Oh
I
wow.
told him, yeah, like
Yeah.
it surprised me.
Yeah.
Very smart kid. He's a very smart kid and responsible.
Yeah.
So I didn't think he was gonna take it as a joke. Yeah, he took it serious and he killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's he dealing with just like, if someone was to pull up next to him and want to, race or whatever the case is?
Yeah, he's not like that.
No, I mean
Yeah, no,
he's pretty what do you call it? Like he's not into the peer pressure.
oh no.
Oh, okay, that's
Nah.
good.
Yeah, that I have those type of talks with I've had these type of talks with him since you met him,
Yeah,
little guy.
yeah,
I never I was never the type to keep him away from listening to music that had bad words,
yeah,
movies that had bad scenes.
yeah,
He obviously would do like close his eyes. 16 years old, I've probably only heard him cuss, I would say like 5 times.
oh, wow. My
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
cuss all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like
no,
I'm like, "It's
I'm
not
telling you.
cool."
And the thing, when you see him, right,
Yeah,
he doesn't look like that.
yeah,
Like, he dresses very similar to me.
yeah,
He's outgoing, same personality,
right,
very smart. He wakes up, he knows what he
yeah,
knows what he has to do before he starts playing video games. He'll do the dishes,
yeah,
throw out the trash. Very smart kid. But when I have those conversations with him, I don't keep anything back.
yeah,
Like, he listens to me have conversations with my mom, with my girl,
Yeah.
with any of my friends, I want him to understand that, hey, just because you listen to stuff like that, the
Uh-huh.
bad stuff, I mean, you don't necessarily have to do it. So you can hang out with whoever you want to hang out with,
Right.
but you got to think one small, you're out with your friends,
Yeah.
the driving. You're out with your friends, his friends drive already. I tell him, if you're going to be out with your friends, I want you to be comfortable to reach out to me, whether it's midnight, 2 o'clock, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're out drinking, if they're out smoking, doing stuff like that, I want you to know, like, hey, reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get upset. And he knows that. I'm not gonna get upset. I would much rather be the one driving,
Right.
you and your friends, versus your friends doing it.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's open.
Yeah.
He's open with me on everything. That's the
So
type of
where do you draw the line? Because the fact that you had mentioned that he's your best friend, where do you draw the line when you have to discipline? And what is your discipline on top of that?
I'm big on respect,
Yeah.
right? I'm big on respect. So talking back doesn't really talk back.
Yeah.
We joke around a lot. Our personalities are
Mhm.
very similar.
Yeah.
But when I say, hey, you know what? Can you take out the trash?
Yeah.
Man, if he was to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to right now.
Yeah.
Obviously I'll have that conversation. Hey, I already asked you once.
Yeah.
It's very rare to have to ask him 2 times, 3 times to make sure that something gets done, because we're talking about when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
Everybody used to tell me I was super hard on him.
Yeah.
I was super strict with him. I haven't really had to discipline him since he was, I would say, back in 2019. What is
Yeah.
that, 4 years ago? 12 years old?
Okay.
He that was the last time where we actually had a tough conversation, to where we were playing video games.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to control his emotions. The
Mhm.
controller, the joystick kept having the guy go out of bounds, and we were playing NBA 2K,
Yeah.
and he was getting frustrated.
Yeah.
And me, I hadn't seen that side of him, because I get him every other weekend,
Right.
and he really got upset, to the point to where he yelled, and I hadn't seen that since he was 9 years old,
Yeah.
so I went a bunch of years without seeing any type of aggression like that, or any type of disrespect. But as soon as that happened, I stood up, had to have, like, a serious conversation with him, obviously took
Right.
the video games away from him, and ever since he was a little kid, every time I had those tough conversations with him, and I let him know, like, hey, the disrespect wasn't gonna happen,
Yeah.
I would let him get frustrated, tear up,
Uh-huh.
uh, and 30 minutes later, I would have a conversation with them,
Yeah.
just letting them know, "Hey, you know what? I have to have these conversations with you, because when you get out in the real world, you're frustrated, you're emotional.
Yeah.
Other people may not deal with it the way that I am. I'm your
Right.
father. I
Yeah.
can control myself. Other people can't be like that. I've myself had trouble with anger management issues,
Right.
frustration. So I just basically try to show them the bigger picture.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah. When it comes to him, it's very tough. Like, he's a very respectful young man.
I know, like, with me, like, my kid, I mean, he's 11 and he's starting to be at the age where he's just kinda just acting out and this and that. It's just sometimes I try to be just as quiet, but as firm because I don't wanna, like, show him that, like, okay, I'm getting upset, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I tell him kinda like how you said, where I'm just like, "I already talked to you about this. I'm not gonna talk to you about it again. Like, figure it out." And that way it allows him to think, "Okay, what am I gonna do?" I don't wanna give him the answers. I don't wanna, guide it for him. I want him to figure it out,
Mhm.
and then I can kinda coach him within those situations. Man, I hear some of these, parents that come on and they give me their success stories, and sometimes I'm listening to it, I'm like, "Man, I'm lagging a little bit," because of the fact that, usually when I hear, these parents come on, they're talking about, their kids, being really good. I'm like, "Shoot, man." Sometimes my kids, they'll just come on and they'll just be acting out or just something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of the premise of the show, so I can learn as I'm, having these conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah. What has been the hardest thing overall with you with fatherhood?
I would say the last 2 years have been great,
Uh-huh.
right? Just my mindset. My mindset has changed.
Right.
But from the age of 16 to I'm 33 now, the age of 16 through 30,
Yeah.
it was a lot of challenges. I mean, life,
Uh-huh.
life hits you, right? There was a lot of times to where I would I had to sacrifice. I didn't finish high school,
Right.
right? I didn't finish high school. I was a teenage father. I had to, when you're a teenage father, you're dealing with another teenager.
Yeah.
His mom, me and her, we didn't know, we
Yeah.
didn't even know each other
Yeah.
when we had just met. It was 5 months of meeting each other. She got pregnant.
Uh-huh.
Life changed, right?
Yeah.
So now this was in the middle of my sophomore and my junior year.
Uh-huh.
I had to grow up quick. I had to grow up quick. Moved in together. You want me to go into like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah?
Break it down. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So I was 16 years old. His
Uh-huh.
mom was 15.
Yeah.
We After sophomore year, her freshman year, we moved in together. We during the summer.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was
Did you meet her at school or did you meet her? Yeah,
yeah,
she was
yeah, yeah.
she went to your school?
Yeah,
Okay.
we met each other at school, and when we were living together, obviously now you have 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds that move in together. Those
Yeah.
problems, they're already older,
Right.
and they still have problems. Imagine us being
Yeah.
teenagers and having issues and stuff like that. So it was just wasn't a really great relationship. But then I found out she was pregnant.
Yeah.
My life changed, and at that point, I remember the moment that she told me that she was pregnant. My heart dropped. We were in the bathroom. Sh I called my mom, and I told her, "Hey, she's pregnant." And
Uh-huh.
my mom thought I was joking,
Yeah.
and I was so scared that anger
Yeah.
came in. I told you I used to have anger management issues,
Yeah.
right? So I told her like, "No, I'm not joking. This is actually happening." And I started seeing my mind,
Mhm.
like envisioning, "Oh, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna,"
Right.
you know, I didn't go back to school. She also didn't go back to
So you
school.
guys dropped out at that point, like
Yeah,
done. Okay.
yeah. Her freshman year was the last year that she.
Was this a mutual conversation you guys had with each other, or you guys just kind of it was you guys' own decision and then it just happened to work out that you guys both dropped out?
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't want to say too much
Yeah.
of her story,
Yeah.
but she had ran away
Yeah.
after she was 15 years old. She ran away to go and live with me. We went to my sister's house,
Yeah.
and her parents didn't want her to be in a relationship. They didn't even want her to be talking to anybody on the phone. So
Did they
with
know that
her,
she was pregnant or
no,
oh wow, okay.
no, yeah. So when she ran away, obviously a daughter needs her parents,
Yeah.
and she ran away. She was scared. I was scared.
Yeah.
Her parents are pretty strict.
Right.
So then when we found out she was pregnant, we had to think about the whole, hey, we got to reach out to them and let them know.
Yeah.
So we reached out. They came to the house. They didn't know where we were living. She
Yeah.
hadn't made contact with them. The first time that she made contact with them after a month of, being in the summer was to let them know, hey, that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
They came over. They took her. They took her back to the house.
Yeah.
They said everything was gonna be great. Um, and yeah, when they took her back to the house, I mean, there was a lot of issues.
Did you guys still talk during that process?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we still talk. We were still together,
Yeah.
but it was just kind of a scary time for both of us,
Yeah.
or for all of us. My family, her family.
Do you remember what was going on through your mind at that time?
Yeah, yeah. Just again, uncertainty. I didn't
So
know.
let me ask. At that point, I mean, I know you know that she's pregnant, but I mean, does it click that the fact that you're going to be a father? I asked that because the fact that I remember back when I realized I was going to be a father. My wife, with the first one, I we went through the whole entire term. Yeah, I got the morning sickness. We're buying baby stuff. It just felt like okay, we're playing the part. it didn't hit me to where I was actually a father till the first night we were in the hospital after she had just had the baby. I'm zoned out because when you're having the baby, you're so tired and stuff. And I'm asleep and I hear this baby crying. And in my mind, I'm like, man, there's a baby crying. Like, why is that baby sound so close? And then it just hit me. I'm like, man, that's my kid. Like,
Mhm.
that's my son. So then I woke up and the nurse was like, nah, go back to sleep. And I was like, nah, like I wanna see this thing.
Yeah.
It At that point I realized I'm a father now.
Mhm.
What was your moment?
The day,
Yeah.
the day that we had the little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when she went into labor, it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
She told me she had gotten up to go to the restroom.
Right.
I thought it was just a restroom.
Yeah.
She came back into the room and said that she thinks her water broke.
Yeah.
So when she told me that, this is how young and dumb I was, right?
Yeah.
I said, "You just had to go pee."
Yeah.
I went back. I went back to bed,
Uh-huh.
right? And then she told me, I guess she stayed up. She couldn't go back to sleep, and she was like, "No, I really think my water broke." So
Yeah.
when she told me that, I was living at my sister's house. My sister worked at an OBGYN,
Yeah.
and this is where she was going to do the doctor checkups and
Yeah.
everything, right? So I went to my sister's room and I told her, I think her water broke.
Yeah.
And she woke up, obviously, and she came and she said, "Yeah, that happened. We got to go." So at 7 o'clock in the morning, we went to we went to the hospital, and yeah, she was in labor from 7:30 a.m. till 12:48 a.m. the next day. So what
Yeah.
is
It's
that?
the first one's always the longest.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy.
So even then, right?
Yeah.
Still thinking about myself.
Yeah.
And that day, the mindset that I had, I'm still into basketball now,
Yeah.
but that day I went to go play basketball
Yeah.
with my friends, and
When she was in the
yeah,
hospital? Oh, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is me still being a child, 16-year-old,
Uh-huh.
thinking about myself. Went to go play basketball with my friends, and then finally I went back to the hospital. I mean, I was with her for a couple of hours, and then I went back to the hospital around 7 o'clock, and then I stayed there. Right, we had
Right.
dinner. The little guy was born at 12:48
Yeah.
a.m. And then after that, something clicked. Like something clicked to where it was everything. I held him. I look back at the pictures where I'm cutting the umbilical cord. I had him, and honestly, what I always tell everybody, you don't know what love is until you're holding your
Right.
first
It makes you
child.
soft. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie. Like having a kid makes you soft.
yeah,
And I mean that in a good way too. You know what I mean? Because the fact that it puts things in realization. For me, I'm more thinking about like it also adds anxiety and just a feel of consistent overwhelmingness.
yeah,
I'm always thinking about if I'm not working, my kids are not eating. If I'm not doing this, my kids are, you know what I mean? I'm always thinking about my kids in the
yeah.
back of my mind. My kids could eat first, I'll worry about it.
Mhm.
My kids could do this, I'll worry about it later. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a father's sacrifice always becomes the kid's priority. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Um, so when at that point, because you're, playing basketball, I'm thinking about are you telling anybody that you're like, my girl's about to have my baby, or it's just more of just like, oh, I'm gonna just play some games and stuff like that?
At that time, I had a couple of friends that I always played basketball with.
Yeah.
You know, they all knew. They all knew. They went to the hospital with me.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it was just me just thinking about it now, like
Uh-huh.
literally just thinking about it now.
Yeah.
It was probably just me trying to
Cope.
not, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
just put my mind at ease. I guess instead of saying, "Hey, you know what? Your life is literally about to change and it's gonna happen today."
So I
I
have so many different questions. You're 16. What are you doing in regards to like now I got to support this baby? How are you supporting this baby and how are you getting around to the doctor visits?
So that's where I was gonna get to. Remember how I told you that I'll tell a story and then I
Yeah.
get a little
Yeah.
distracted.
Yeah.
So when she went back home, her mother worked at a dealership,
Uh-huh.
Avondale dealership.
Yeah.
She had been there for years, and she knew the GMs there. She was well liked. She was able to get my son's mother a job as a
Yeah.
receptionist.
Okay.
So she was the one that had the job first. This was during the summer. She got a job. She was pregnant, but
Yeah.
she was doing that. So one day I was driving to drop her off,
Yeah.
and I knew I had to get a job.
Yeah.
I knew how to get a job, and at that point, I didn't think about going back to school. I said, "Hey, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna start getting. I gotta start working. I gotta start supporting the little guy, her,
Yeah.
us. So dropped her off at work. On my way back, there was a Subway. Um, there was a Subway. I stopped in there and I asked, like, "Hey, I'm looking for a job. Are you guys hiring?" The manager said, "Hey, yeah. What's your schedule like?" Well, she obviously seen that I was a 16-year-old, and typically 16-year-olds are going to school, so they
Yeah.
may not be able. I said anything. Like I can work in the morning. She said you can work in the mornings, even when school starts. And I said, yeah, because at that point I'm just thinking about work. I'm
Right.
not thinking about going back to school.
Yeah.
So she said, well, yeah, just fill that out and you have a job.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah, you can start. I don't really remember if I had to do a whole drug test or anything like that, but I've never been into drugs or
Right.
or drinking at that time. Obviously, I was 16. But yeah, started working right there. Well, yeah, you think about it, right? Like I
Right.
had a lot of friends that were drinking
Yeah.
and smoking at that time, but I
Right.
just wasn't. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I started doing. I started working at Subway, and I worked at Subway for about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. Like my actual, I've been working ever since.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question because I'm thinking about the hospital too thing. I was eavesdropping on, two moms, they were talking and stuff like that. And usually based on the shows, I'm usually listening a lot. I'm listening to conversations, I'm watching a lot of, videos. I'm all over the place to try to better, each podcast show. But I was listening to two moms and one was talking about how fathers, deal with postpartum. And the other mom's like, no, that's bullshit. Like men don't have or fathers don't have postpartum. Do you believe that? And even after he answers, I would love your opinion too on it, Dip. But do fathers have postpartum? Anything postpartum, anything?
Well, it's hard because I haven't. He's
Yeah,
my only son. The only time that I ever went through something like that was just him.
yeah,
At that time, I don't know if it was postpartum or just me being a teenager,
right,
just me not understanding, me not being fully developed, my
yeah,
mindset, everything. I was still kind of selfish,
yeah,
even though I was working. I still wanted to play basketball. Honestly, at that time, I'm young, was into other girls. I
uh-huh,
wasn't the best boyfriend. I've always been a great father and put
yeah.
him,
First,
yeah, put
yeah,
him first. But as far as being a boyfriend, I feel like all the issues that happened between me and his mother,
uh-huh.
I would say it was because of my mindset at that time. I was still young.
Okay.
So yeah, I
And
don't know
Dip,
about the postpartum now.
yeah, Dip. What about you? Do you believe that fathers have postpartum?
Uh, I don't know, man. It's so hard because you never know the mental state of anyone else.
Right.
But I feel as though I didn't have any of those. I had post no sleep. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I couldn't get. Still we ain't got no sleep.
Yeah.
So that's a normal part of being a parent. But
Yeah.
nah, man, I don't think, man. But they say a lot of women go through that, but I don't think. I think men we got it a little easier because the connection
Right.
to the kid
Yeah.
isn't there, and then they lose that connection
Yeah.
after 9 months. And we don't really have that.
Right.
I think it's more of dealing with the mother and how to accept what she's putting out,
Right.
and how we're going to accept it is more what we have to deal with, and how we're going to change our lives to make sure everybody good. And that's the hardest part for us, man, because that's why I didn't want to have a kid when I was young, man, because I
Yeah.
knew it was going to be tough
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
switch your life up and become 100% father, and
Yeah.
and not be focused on you.
Yeah. You were gonna say something?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that I feel like it's the issues that
Uh-huh.
we come up, right? Our schedule changes,
Right.
our
Mhm.
routines change,
Right.
no sleep.
Yeah.
You're dealing with me. If I think about it, my son's 16. If
Yeah.
I had to start all over, I know that my whole routine would change. So those type of issues may be considered postpartum,
Okay.
right? Issues because now what he said, now you're gonna have to deal with your girl and how she's feeling. That can cause stress, and honestly, it's all
Yeah.
mental.
Yeah.
You know?
And I do have to agree with Dip because of the fact that last week I was talking about where, no matter abortion, miscarriages, whatever the case is, the baby that the mother carries, the cells still stay with the mother. So that's the mother's intuition. I still feel, so I have to agree with what Dip was saying. But before we continue, we're gonna take a quick potty break. But before we do, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe to this channel, and share this video for support. We'll be right back. Questions, but I have a random question for both of you. Which TV dad would you like to be as your real father?
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really watch a lot of TV, and I haven't watched a lot of TV in a minute.
Yeah.
I would say, probably P.O. Cosby.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the way he was on this TV show,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I'm just talking
TV
about just the show itself.
Right, exactly. I'm not going off of his real life persona. I'm going off the TV shows.
Yeah.
So to me, it would be him. He was fair, but he was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was always teaching.
Okay.
And I thought that he was always a good father. And some of the shit that he says, he said in that, I find myself saying, like, because he just was. I thought he was dope.
Yeah. I liked Carl Winslow. Family Matters. Yeah. Kind of the same concept. I mean,
I thought he was kind of soft.
You thought
but
so?
Yeah, I thought he was kind of a pushover. But he's definitely a good father.
Yeah.
But I thought about him, and I was like, yeah, he was kind of a pushover, man.
Yeah.
But he definitely was a good dad father.
Yeah.
On TV.
Yeah.
I'm thinking back, right? The only type of shows that I used to watch are those.
Yeah.
Like the Full House, Family Matters.
Yeah.
Tim Allen, he used to have
Oh yeah, the Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Tool,
show.
Tool Man.
Yeah. So when I was younger, I used to watch that. And then just recently, when you guys were talking about it, I was thinking about All American.
Yeah.
It's a football. I'm not sure if you see it on Netflix.
CW.
Yeah. What's the actor's name? Taye Diggs.
Diggs.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of myself like that, right?
Uh-huh.
It's football, it's sports related.
Right.
But yeah, honestly, I never really thought of other. I have a family when I was little.
Yeah.
I kind of grew up with them.
Right.
And I just thinking about now the way that I've fathered my son.
Yeah.
I feel like I got it from my friend's dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I saw the way that he was with his kids, and he had them in football. They actually are the ones that got me into sports when I was a little kid.
Right.
And even up until last weekend when I went down to Tucson.
Yeah.
I spent the night at their house. They're still like my family. They raised me. My Christmases were with them.
Yeah.
I spent at a 365 when I was a kid. I was literally at their house 300 days out of the 365.
Wow.
They live right across the street, and I feel like I call him Pops.
Yeah.
He was like my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he always told
Just like
the
you as your
kids,
own.
yeah, I love you. I saw that a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. So I always tell everybody, if it wasn't for that family, for them,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I would be.
Yeah. I think about it too, because like there was a good period where me and my dad, we didn't talk. We just kind of just had a falling out. I had a lot of father figures in my life. A lot of them. They're all good, in their own way. And I think it too. I mean, even, my cousin's dad, he would take us camping. And I remember one story in general too, where, and I mentioned it on, I don't know if it was this show or the other show, but I went up for a dare. Everybody's like, I'll give you $20 if you jump off the top of the school bus. And it's like, okay, we were poor. We didn't, I didn't have no money. I was wearing hand me downs all the time. And so I was like, cool, I'll take it. I ended up jumping off the school bus. I didn't end up getting paid nothing, but I sprained my leg that weekend. My mom's like, I'm going to call, Mark to have him come take you camping. I ended up having to walk, the whole entire time. We went camping and I'm walking around. My leg is probably sprained or whatever. And every single time I would go to him, he would, talk to me just like a regular person. And he wouldn't falter me because of the fact that I was somebody else's kid. You know what I mean? He would treat me like his own. And a lot of the fathers that, came into the picture, they would, treat me like just some other kid. But at the same extent, I had a lot of good people a lot of good fathers that would come into my, my life that would treat me like their own, this whole entire episode, I wanted to make it more about fathers, because we're going to be celebrating Father's Day. And Father's Day, I've always felt is very undervalued, underappreciated, and
I saw a ranking of holidays today. What do you think Father Days was ranked?
I think we're 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You're a very what do they call that? Positive person?
Yeah.
You have a very positive outlook on life, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. 20th.
That's crazy. 20 like 20.
No, dog. They had like Arbor Day before Father's Day.
That's what I'm talking about. Like
it was like so crazy.
Yeah. That is crazy.
Halloween was like 4th.
Yeah.
3rd. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the holidays people care about. Mother's Day was 2nd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so on the end, I'm gonna give out, facts based on Mother's Day to Father's Day, and it shows the differences. It's I did a meme the other day, the other day where it talks about like, Father's Day is coming, but here comes all the single moms to tell you about how they're the Father's Day. Like that bothers me.
They're the father.
Yeah.
Yes, that bothers me because of the fact that I try so hard 365 to make sure that I'm a good father for my kids. Not that I need the recognition or the validation from anybody else, but we can't even they're just like Dip said, they're number 2 and they're still not happy with our 20.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy. Like let us have our moment. We don't ask for anything else. And then we get stuck with a tie and we have to barbecue for our own day.
Yeah.
We shelter them with flowers, with dinner and breakfast in bed, and we have to pamper them, and they're still not happy half the times. It's like, just give us our day. They have like 100 other days and we just want one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't want socks. We don't want ties. We don't want those little, gadgets. We want stuff that, shit. I tell my wife all the time, just have the kids make me artwork so I can post up in the office or I can post up, take her with me to the show. That's what really does it for me.
Yeah.
Or taking the kids, because sometimes she's like, well, let's go do something. I don't have that shit.
Exactly.
I want to go do whatever's going to make you guys happy, because that's a gift, to myself, is seeing my kids, happy. Yeah. That's what does it for me. What do you guys like for Father's Day?
I'm just like you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. I mean, everybody loves to eat, right?
Yeah.
So you can go out for breakfast, or you can even make me breakfast.
Yeah.
You and the kids can make breakfast.
Yeah.
Right. A massage. My little guy, little guy is 16 years old. I pay for his Xbox Live subscription.
Yeah.
I told him this, $10 a month, 10-minute foot massage or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's all I care about. I don't need gifts. I have everything that I want.
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I have everything I want. I always tell everybody I have everything I want. Just food, something, a gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Just something that shows that you thought about me a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's all it takes.
To be a card. It's just anything. Hey, I grabbed you. Dinner. Happy Father's Day. We grabbed dinner out here.
Yeah.
I don't care about it. I'm not picky because I'm not big on holidays anyway.
Yeah.
So because they've always been I think a place of depression.
Yeah.
Because you look at holidays and you always feel as though you don't have enough, or you're not, you can't do enough.
Exactly.
Like other people, and holidays are a good reminder of what you are not providing.
Yeah.
So that's why holidays have always been tough for me. But that's why I really don't care. You don't have
I'm
to
the
give me
same way.
nothing. Just to say Happy Father's Day. I'm cool. Smoke a blunt with me.
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Just chill out.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. Yeah.
Chill out. Because on
For
Mother's
real.
Day, right, we got to go to the restaurants. We have to
Right.
wait for us to be seated.
3
We
hours
got to
just to
pay.
yeah.
We
But
got to do all of this stuff. Drive.
You
Yeah.
know why? Because women, I mean, they're raised differently than we are.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a part of how we do it culturally.
Yeah.
We raise them different. They expect things. We don't. Men don't expect things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We know how we don't get it and work for it
Uh-huh.
because we're told that since we're little.
Yeah.
Women aren't told that.
Yeah, it's programmed in us.
It's different. You know what I'm saying? It's, hey, you're gonna get you a nice man that's gonna buy you stuff. If he's not buying you anything, then you know what I'm saying, he's not a good man.
Yeah.
We're told if you're not buying for her or if you're not providing for her, then you're not nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't nowhere in there that it says somebody gonna buy something for so that's not part of the cultural raising of how we do things in this country, man. So we are never like that. Men are just like, hey, whatever. You know what I mean?
What is your guys's what do you guys believe is a misconception of the father? Because now that I'm hearing you talk about that, Dip, like, what do you believe that we're being overlooked for?
I'm not the answer. I answer you first, but I think it's just because so many single mothers are able to work, bring in finances, and that was really our main. We were the provider.
Yeah.
So if we're not providing anymore, and they could provide for themselves,
yeah,
what do they need us for?
Yeah.
Is how a lot of them look at it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's about financials. They needed us to help them financially and support them financially.
Yeah.
They don't. Not all of them need that anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's the impact that a father has on a son, right? I can't speak to a daughter because I don't have a daughter.
Right.
I just see and have had friends that didn't grow up with the father. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, right? I'm just going to say this. They haven't made the best decisions in life, right? Get into trouble. I feel like that gets overlooked. My experience, mothers tend to, I guess, baby
nurture, right? That's what they're here for.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
So they're not really that hard on the little ones when they're young.
Yeah.
So when they're young, they develop and they think that it's okay to be disrespectful. They think that it's okay to not listen or get whatever they want. You know? The mother typically isn't the type to stick to, hey, you know what? You do that, you're gonna be in timeout.
Right.
They'll say 7, 8 times.
Yeah.
And then at that point, the little guy, the children aren't really gonna listen to it and say, hey, just talking to me. And I know that because based off the father that I said, right, John. When I was younger, I used to see that all the time. My friend and his little brother.
Yeah.
I would see that. And they would actually say that, oh, when the dad's not here, oh, she's just telling us this.
Yeah.
My mom's just telling us this. She ain't gonna do nothing. I would see that, right? And that always stayed in my head. My girl, the little guy, 9-year-old,
Yeah.
he was like that. She is very much to where she has to tell him multiple times to do something.
Right.
When I say something, he does it right then and there. You know, I think it's more of the, oh, okay. I don't know if it's the voice. I don't know if
it's a little bit of a fear factor.
Yeah, exactly.
That you just don't have that females can't put on, especially over a male.
Yeah.
My mother was a pretty tough lady, man, but it was nothing she could do to make me scared of her.
Yeah.
She tried everything.
Yep.
But it didn't work. It just nothing she could do. She's a female. I'm not going to be scared. It was just a certain day when she's trying to whoop us. It didn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It didn't.
At a certain point,
it's like, you just don't have the power.
Yeah.
That male figure is needed, man. And we didn't have it. So we end up going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
My brother spent most of their life in jail. Both of them. And one of them sitting in there right now.
Yeah.
So how it is.
I would love to hear you guys' opinion on this. A dad and a TikTok personnel He faked his death because his family stopped inviting him to parties. I think eventually he ended up pranking them or whatever the case. That was kind of childish, kind of dumb. But have you guys ever done anything, dramatic as a father?
No.
I mean, not to this extent, but
right.
Yeah.
I'm only 2 years in, so
Yeah.
I can't say that I've done anything crazy.
Yeah. I don't think I've done anything like crazy, as a father. Actually, I mean, I do some stuff, but it's more of a playful matter. Like when I'm trying to get the kids up, I'll send like the Bluetooth to their devices and I'll like wake them up to like Halloween music and they'll wake up and they'll be like, what the heck?
Oh yeah.
Or if it's like when I'm getting out of work, I'm at home like at 4 a.m. and sometimes my oldest, he'll be up still gaming. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing up? So then I'll play like the Halloween music. And then he's like, Dad, I can't go to sleep because I'm thinking about that music. I'm like, your butt should have been asleep a long time ago.
Right.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What about this one? A father was dad shamed for putting the mom on blast to the doctor after the mom kept giving the baby table food versus the bottle. The baby was 6 months old and kept getting stomach aches and being fussy. Who's at fault and what would you guys have done in this situation?
So when I met my girl, 2000, been together 7 years, 2016.
Uh-huh.
The little guy was 2 years old.
Yeah.
He was still had a blankie.
Yeah.
And he had a baba,
Uh-huh.
the bottle. And I would tell her, like, he was very much, we would sit down on the couch.
Yeah.
And if she would move, he would move towards her.
Yeah.
And at that time, that's where I came in as, I obviously saw myself with her long term. And if I'm gonna be with somebody, I'm not the little guy's actual dad, but I want to make sure that he sees me as a father-like figure, and I want to make sure that I'm showing some sort of, I guess, like that, the blanket, the bottle. The little ones never, they'll stick with it if you're gonna allow them to, right? And I would tell her like, hey, we need to start like
detaching a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And it was hard because he kept asking for it, the blankie and all of that stuff. I didn't necessarily want to take it all the way from him, but just slowly. And I would tell her like, do it for a day, and then slowly start doing it. And literally a few weeks after that, it was good. She didn't think it was gonna be possible.
Yeah,
but you have to get to a point to where it's like that, because even with my little guy, when he was crying, I always wanted to baby him, the bottle, and I would have to go, I would say, a whole week straight with him crying in the middle of the night wanting the bottle. I wouldn't give it to him.
They do that a lot of times. Kids do that because it's more of a comfort thing.
Mhm.
They have the bottle, they have the blanket or whatever, because it's like, I don't necessarily feel 100% safe, so this is my tactic, whatever the case is, what I was reading.
Mhm.
What about you, Dip?
What was the question again? My bad.
A father, a set of parents, they went to the doctors, and the father tells the doctor like, "Hey, like, my wife."
You talking about the stomach ache thing?
Yeah, because the mom kept giving.
I mean, we have conversations like that, but it's her kid too.
Yeah.
So if you can only say so much.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? There's consequences. Sometimes the only how a mother can see what she's doing is with the consequences.
Yeah.
And the consequences, like, look, she's steady having a stomach ache.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully she can see that, hey, this is pretty simple. You're feeding her, she getting a stomach ache. You know what I mean? So it's hard for you to come in and just be like, you don't need to be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. Stop feeding her that stuff. She's getting sick.
Right.
It's so hard. You can try to suggest it to her and say, hey, it looks like that's the culprit of what's going on. But until you get that real solid proof, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But man, I say, man, you have to be mentally willing to listen to people when it comes to kids. Bro.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You never had one. So you better listen, man.
I say that all the time, even with like with teachers and just different personnel. I'm like, they have to have that experience,
Mhm.
For real.
Yeah. And the last one, a father or a stepfather was caught lurking on the stepdaughter. It was brought to the mom's attention, but the mom was more of just like, "Oh, you're just making it up." What do you guys do in this situation? The daughter's telling you like, "Hey, stepdad's over here creeping on me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the mom's not believing.
Nah. like to me as a father, if I had a daughter,
Yeah.
I would have to go with what my daughter's actually saying,
I
right?
mean, at least take it into
Yeah.
consideration.
Yeah. But to just say no, that's not happening. I mean, there has to be a reason as to why she's telling me that, right? We
Right.
got to dig deeper into it
That's
and
real.
see what's going on. Because I mean, if my son came in
Yeah.
right now and told me, "Hey, this is what's happening with my stepfather," or with my girl,
Yeah.
right? I would have to think about it. I can't just I cannot acknowledge it and say, "Nah, that didn't happen."
Yeah.
You have to.
Unfortunately, when I was reading this one story, of course you get caught in like the whole like chain or whatever. There's a lot of stories that are out there where it's just parents aren't believing their kids, and it falls into this chain of just these predators that are coming in, and
Mhm.
it's very scary.
I've seen it, and parents don't want to believe it. And they don't want to believe that their brother or uncle or cousin would do something like that.
That's the worst
And,
part about it.
yeah.
It's family. It's family that's the ones that are doing it.
I've seen it, and the thing is, dude, the way my people were when we was growing up.
Yeah.
My girl cousins and the cousins that I had that were female, they didn't hang out with us, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't kick it with us.
Yeah.
They was with my aunties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They wasn't in the places where a whole bunch of boys was at.
Right.
It was 15, 20 boys, and then my girl cousins, they in there too. My family didn't play that.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like that's the way to say, I'm not having you not my daughter hit that age of 12, 13, 14, 11, 12, 13. Ain't no grown man gonna be around her in the house. There's no reason for no men to be in here. I got daughters and wives in here.
Yep.
No.
You can't trust
you
anybody.
ain't you right. No man is even coming up in here. So then it's not even a question.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that's been our rule. We don't have our kids, they don't stay the night in no one's house.
Hell nah, man. You can't trust nobody, especially a girl, dude.
Yeah.
Boy, you know what I'm saying? You could do a little bit more, but man, hell nah, man.
Yeah.
No girl, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like you said, it's different. Like with my son.
Yeah.
I have a little bit more leeway. Obviously, if he was to tell me something like that, red flags would come up, right?
Most definitely.
But if it was, I don't think I would be letting my daughter be around other men like that.
I don't even trust it, even with boys, though. I mean,
I'm hearing, boys either.
Yeah, I'm
serious.
Tons of different stories too. With
same
boys,
age boys. There's no reason for y'all to be around each other like that in situations where they kicking it with each other, laying around the house.
Exactly.
Where they kicking each other, laying around his house.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
And to extend, that's been the reason why we've been having this. That's the reason why I've been covering these night shifts, is because of the fact that we've had a few different sitter issues, and everybody's just like, "Oh, just take them, to a sitter." We've been looking. It's either I'm going to pay a shitload of money, or I'm going to take them to these spots that I don't feel comfortable with them, and the baby don't talk. So who knows what could be going on? You know what I mean? I'm not putting myself in a situation where I'm possibly getting myself arrested because I did something protecting my son.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it will become that situation because. My kids come first.
You're gonna lose it for your kids. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't protect themselves, so you're the person that protect them for them, especially versus adults.
Right. I'm an alpha when it comes to that because I don't play. I don't play when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Nobody's gonna know. Oh.
You know what that means. It's now time for the know, the O, and the laugh. It's where this and every show we give out a random hack, fun fact, or message and joke. Today's hack. I don't know if I already gave this one, so I'll give 2 hacks for in this case. The first one, slip a fitted sheet over a pack and play to keep the bugs off the baby and provide shade for when you and the baby want to play outside. So like, let's say mom wants to go outside and, play at the park, whatever. So you know what a pack and play is? It's those like little like square things. You put the kids in so that way they don't go all over the places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you put a bed sheet over it. So that way the bugs aren't going in there. So that way you don't have to worry about like it also provides shade and stuff like that.
Yeah, no matter how little the baby is. My little girl, when she was 1,
crawling out of it,
she was jumping up and down in them up. So none of that stuff really would work.
Yeah, that's my son too. Was
7-8 months.
Yeah. And the other hack, keep an out of order sign in your purse or on you, whatever he ends up being, father, mother. Just keep an out of order sign with you at all times. Let's say you go to the store and the kids are like, "Man, I want to get on this, this little ride or whatever the case is," and that's when that little out of order sign becomes in handy. You stick it on there. Oh man, I would love to, but it's broken.
You see that? Oh,
yeah. And then just that way they don't have to. Yeah. It also will help with those unwanted tantrums. And the joke: why is Peter Pan always flying?
I'm not.
Why is Peter Pan always flying?
Not sure.
No, you don't know
Because
that?
it's bad peanut butter. I don't know.
No, because he never lands.
Oh, never land. Ha ha ha.
I know dad jokes are always dry.
Always.
Yeah, but it's good for Father's Day though.
Definitely.
And I wanted to put out some fun facts for Father's Day in honor of Father's Day. I felt it was only right to give. I think I got 5 facts on here, but the first one: a tie is the most commonly purchased item of clothing for a Father's Day. With the gift, number 2 is the actual card, Father's Day card, and the third is a gadget of some sort.
So fucked up.
I know because we
the number one gift is a tie.
Yeah, I think all 3 of those products are probably worth $10. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
we spend that on tax alone for flowers for mothers.
It's so fucked up how they treat us, man.
Yep. People spend an average of $219 for Father's Day.
Oh,
well, do you know how much they spend? But do you know? Well, that's on average though. Do you know what they spend on mothers?
I'm gonna say 500 to 1,000.
Close. $432 for Mother's Day.
Almost double.
Yeah. Well, there are an estimated 70.1 million fathers in the U.S. 2 million are stay-at-home fathers.
Damn. Yeah, man, it's a lot more prevalent nowadays that men are taking over those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And out of 70.1 million fathers are in the U.S., 2.3 are single fathers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
And the last one: fathers make an estimated $65,000 a year. You want to guess what mothers make?
Single mothers?
No, just regular. I didn't break it down.
I'm gonna put it at 35, 40.
Close. You want to guess?
Yeah, I'll do 35.
Yeah, 48,000.
Yeah, that's more than I thought.
Yeah,
but they are usually, if it's someone that's broke or poor, usually the single mother. Unfortunately, man.
Yeah. And as we wrap up the show, I want to thank today's guest, Julio. How'd you feel?
Good, man.
Yeah.
You got me thinking about my whole childhood, man.
I'm telling you, it's a good show. I just need people to watch it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Where can they follow you at?
Honestly, like, I haven't been on Facebook in a while.
Yeah.
Social media, I'm rarely on there. But if they did want to follow me, it would be at, I believe it's J_Dubs89.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your stuff all the time with the workouts and everything else. You're always in the gym.
Yeah, man. Just motivation, positivity, strong mind, strong body. You know, is going to be a strong mind. It's honestly what I do this for too.
Yeah.
Is so that my son can see that. Like
and I see that too.
Yeah.
There's a like a good handful of, I see you're always connected with your son, and I think it's dope. So I appreciate it. That's why it was like big for you to be on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I do is for him.
Yeah.
He sees me fasting.
Yeah.
He asked me what it is for, and I said it's just to make sure that you have the ability to control yourself.
Yeah.
You do this for delayed gratification. You go to the gym, it's delayed gratification instead of just doing stuff that you want to do.
Right.
I try to teach him that type of stuff, and I can't teach him by just telling him.
Mm-hmm.
I have to live it.
You gotta live it. Gotta show him.
So let me ask you: if your son's watching this show, what's one thing you could tell him? You had like, say, 20 seconds to talk to him. What would you say to your son?
Respect will get you a long way in life. Looking at things in a positive way on how I can do something versus why I can't do something.
Right.
Figuring it out, because I've had to do a lot myself, and he's been with me during the tough times. And I guess just letting them know, like, hey, life's gonna throw a whole bunch of stuff at you. It's how you handle it versus, what actually happens.
Right.
If you can handle it with positivity and action and not let the negativity, hold you back, because mental, if you have a bad mindset, it's going to hold you back.
Right.
And I tell them all the time, just be positive. Make sure that you're actually thinking, control your emotions.
Do you tell your son? Do you tell your son you love him?
All the time.
Yeah, you're not I know some fathers that don't, and it's crazy to me.
It's crazy that I tell him I love him almost every single time.
You physically say those words?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Almost every time that and it's crazy. I say it a lot.
Yeah.
I
tell my boys all the time.
I show them a lot.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I'll go into his gaming room.
Yeah.
If I talk to him, all right, kiddo, I love you. I'll leave, come back an hour later just to check up on him and just to talk to him.
Yeah.
All right, kiddo, I love you. It's just natural. I tell to my little guy too.
Yeah.
I always have to make sure that I'm telling them, that I'm showing them by spending time with them and teaching them the way to live, to be a great guy. You know, respect, making sure that you treat others with respect, treat others with love, and honestly,
I say it a lot because of the fact that a lot of the men figures when I was growing up, they never said it. It was a weak thing. It was a feminine thing to do, and I say it all the time.
Shit, even the women didn't say it, man. In my circles.
Well, it was just more. I guess for the women, it was more of the elders. So like the grandma, like the nanas, like the nanas. No
one, dog.
Yeah, you said it was weird. What part? I'm sorry, I missed the part where I said you said it was weird.
Oh, I said that's weird because myself, I tell my nephew I love him. I tell almost everybody, man, because
it's important.
Yeah, man. When you lose so many people, dude, it's just like you just change your whole outlook. When I was younger, I probably never said it to people, but you change, man. When you start living, dude, you live.
I have two brothers. Even now, they're older than me. I'm 33. One's 42. The other one's, I believe, 39. They even when I'm on the phone with them, just because we're men, man. Like it's not normal. I tell that to my son, but it's not normal to tell your friends to tell other men, yo, I love you, bro. Like, you know, I love you. When I hang out with my brother, I tell him all the time, hey, I love you. And I can hear it on his end to where he was never really told that.
Right.
So sometimes he doesn't say it back.
Right.
Just doesn't know how to react.
Yeah. In my head, and he'll tell me it sometimes, but in my head, that's all I'm thinking about. Oh, he probably didn't hear that a lot growing up because we all lived kind of separate.
Right.
I don't have a lot of memories with my older brothers. Like I said, I lived in a household where the dad always told my friends, I love you.
Yeah.
And I probably took that from that. My brothers didn't. They didn't have that. They lived, they were in the streets. Not homeless, but with friends, always getting into trouble, and they had to grow up quick, and they probably didn't hear that a lot.
Yeah. Wow. And then the last thing too. Do you guys both want to give shout out to fathers, who are just doing a good job out there?
Yeah, man. Most definitely.
Yeah. I honestly don't hang out with men that aren't great fathers.
Right.
I think everybody that I talk to is a great father. I've had experiences to where there are men that aren't there for their kids, that don't necessarily make their kids a priority. And to me, I just couldn't see myself hanging around with men that are like that. And I know how hard it is. I know the sacrifices that you have to make as a dad.
Yeah.
Because I made a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not respected and that's not acknowledged a lot.
Yeah.
So any dad any friend that I have, they've been awesome dads.
That's dope. You want to shout out their names?
Yeah, Jose Del Sol, Gabriel Del Sol, they're brothers.
Yeah.
I speak with them. My boy that I grew up with, Ray, he just had a newborn.
Congratulations!
I think in March, and I could see the way the way that he speaks about the little guy.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same way that I used to speak about my kiddo. Right. He was always great with his nephews. He was like their dad.
Yeah.
The nephews spent a lot more time with him than they actually spent with his brother.
Yeah.
But I want to give Ray a shout out for that. Have one of my boys, Chris, he does a lot for his kids.
Right.
He makes sure that he's a barber.
Yeah.
He's a barber. He works at the airport part-time, and he still makes it to all the soccer games, the football games, basketball games, and stuff. So I want to give a shout out to him.
Yeah.
But yeah. Those are the type of men that I want to be around.
That's dope. Real quick before we close out, just wanted to mention again, too. I mentioned it last week. We only got 20 times to play a Tooth Fairy, 13 first days of school, 13 spring breaks, 12 times to play Santa, 1 high school graduation, 1 first date, and 1 chance to raise a good little human. Thank a good dad out there, because we mentioned it, we covered it on the show. It's not appreciated enough, in my own opinion. You might feel differently out there. because I brought those numbers out. Time is, so short. So, just if you're doing, your thing, as a father, I appreciate you. I thank you. If you know someone out there that's doing a good job, just send them a quick message. Hey, I appreciate you. Tomorrow's, Father's Day is about you. Let's take it for you. Please like and follow Habari Live Podcast, Habari Entertainment, and please check out One Love on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Stay safe out there, stay hydrated, and make it a great day. We're out.